There has been nothing said on the Badger for weeks. It has been completely silent. What is going on, guys? I hope you're having a fantastic day. I just have to say, once again, thank you for all the support on all my videos. You guys have been absolutely crushing it, smashing the like button. It really helps me out, and it is shown 100% in just the amount of views and traction I've been getting on my past videos the last few weeks. So once again, thank you, and a reminder, we are doing a giveaway once we get to 250 subscribers. So if you have not already done so, please consider dropping a sub, and leaving a like is going to enter you in to win a Amazon gift card once we get to 250 subs. So the markets are having a nice day today, right? Because you had last week Trump come out and say, well, he had coronavirus and he returned, which that was a good thing for the market. And then discussions about stimulus and stuff like that were kind of halted early last week, and they have continued to ramp back up. And over the weekend, you got some news from the White House, basically, of the deal that they're putting forth as far as stimulus, where Steve Mnuchin is now going to be talking with Nancy Pelosi. So the markets are loving the stimulus talk. Any stimulus right now for the market is absolutely going to be a positive driver in the short term, and I think really over the next couple of weeks. And then obviously you start getting more question marks the closer you get to the election and what the heck is going on. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have a presidential debate this week, which you probably may have seen some fluctuation in the market depending how Joe Biden or President Trump performed, etc. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen, so we're going to have to wait another week before we get another presidential debate, and then we can really probably gauge how the market is feeling as far as who is going to win, or at least who they think is going to win going into the election, because that'll be the last debate. That'll be the last thing on investors' minds, and kind of the last feel that they think of what candidate may be best suited, or how America in general has viewed these two candidates, at least side by side. So we got to do it. We got to talk a little bit about Nikola Motors today. There really hasn't been any new news the past couple of days. I know I didn't upload over the weekend or even on Friday. As you can see, I've been super busy. We are actually moving here, so uploads could be a little sparse here in the next couple of weeks, just because everything that goes into moving is insane. But Nikola Motors, they are having a down day today. No surprise. They need to cool off. They had a pretty good bounce back from after the news where Trevor Milton left, Hindenburg report, fallout still, losing the BP deal, blah 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 blah. Like the list goes on. Canceling Nikola World, and their stock took an absolute hit. I think they were down around $16 at some point, and now they've bounced back to like $25, which if you're talking percentage points, that's a pretty big rebound. That's like 40% rebound. So if you're rebounding that much, you need a period to cool off. So I think that is one of the reasons you're seeing a pullback today. Also, Workhorse absolutely took off on Friday. They had some big news. Their stock, bounced really nice. So obviously, when you have other competing EVs doing good and putting out positive news and stuff like that, the other EVs like Nikola, they're going to probably, their stock price at least is going to respond negatively in the short term. I think in the case of Nikola, you have a lot more downside factors or drivers than you do positive at this point. I know a lot of you guys probably watch other YouTubers who do Nikola videos, because it seems like most everybody who's searching YouTube for Nikola. I think that they all kind of watch the same people. So I know a lot of you've probably seen Sam Alexander, or I think it's Tom or Tim Nash. But anyways, I watched one of Nash's videos. I know this is his last name. I don't know his first. I watched one of his videos, and he claims to have some inside sources at Nikola. So he talked about some pretty interesting stuff. So now obviously I'm going to be getting into stuff that I have no idea if it's true or false. Like I'm taking this with a grain of salt. You should take this with a grain of salt, and don't base this information on how you want to invest in Nikola. It could be totally off base. Like I have no idea. But he said he has some inside sources, and they basically had an employee like Q&A day at Nikola where employees got to ask the execs and the CEO, Mark Russell, some like deep questions, if you will, and they got to find out some information just in general about the health of the company. So it seems like they are kind of contradicting themselves, because one of the things that, according to Mr. Nash, that came out of this meeting and his source was essentially how Nikola 1 was never, it was never supposed to be fully functional, and it is 100% a prototype. And this contradicts what Trevor Milton had said back, where they wanted to make the Nikola 1 basically like fully functional, and they wanted to, you know, make this thing a legit, their first truck, and, you know, implement it and, you know, move it to mass production and stuff like that. So that kind of contradicts some stuff that was said a while back. So that is an interesting point. In addition, he also said that they're going to need more fundraising, which is not a surprise, because right now they're a zero revenue company, absolutely burning through cash. So that is no shock, no surprise at all. And to me, just the fact that, you know, the CEO's coming out saying that they're going to need more money, the fact that they're confirming some of the things that they prior had said basically, you know, were inaccurate or stuff like that, contradicting themselves, still aren't providing updates on the Badger. There has been nothing said on the Badger for weeks. It has been completely silent. There has been nothing in regards to updates on the Badger. And I think if you are an investor of Nikola at this point, or you're a fan of Nikola, that has to throw up a bunch of red flags. The fact that this thing was going to be like their prized jewel. This was going to be their baby that they wanted to release to the world. This was the thing why everybody was so excited back in the middle of the year. You know, when their IPO went out, well, not when I should say their IPO, but when they were officially listed on the NASDAQ, the big news in June, basically that they were releasing the Badger. These are the things, everything around the Badger has been a massive like stem shot, if you will, to the stock. And any news that they, you know, aren't giving us on the Badger, you have to wonder what is really going on, because the stock does react positive anytime they talk about the Badger in a good way. Obviously, if they come out and they say the Badger isn't going to be, you know, done or produced or anytime, like we're not even going to give you a first look until after, you know, 2020, or not 2021, but after the new year, etc. That is going to be a massive blow to the stock. So the fact that they have not said anything in weeks about the Badger has to throw question marks. The fact Nikola World is canceled has to throw question marks. That's where you were going to see the Nikola Badger. So you have to wonder, is this thing even going to happen? Is this just going to be another prototype that, you know, shows up, that they make 5 of them? And, you know, that also draws into another question. How about everybody who's pre-ordered? I know that you had to put money down at the lowest amount, $250. $250 is a decent amount of money, right? $250 could get you 25 burrito bowls at Chipotle. And then, you know, that's on the low end. Some people went in and pre-ordered for $5,000, like the premier package. So I'm just saying, like, if the company is shady and they've done a bunch of sketchy stuff, I mean, you're giving them money for pre-orders, and it's like, what are they, you know, really using the money for? They say they're not using it, and, you know, they say they're just letting it basically sit in the account and not touching it. But to this point, their track record shows that they really can't be trusted. And if they can't be trusted, do you feel confident with, you know, giving them a large sum of money for pre-orders and stuff, especially when you know, it was insinuated that we were going to be hearing a steady flow of information about the Badger leading into Nikola World, which is now canceled. I haven't heard any information on the Badger recently. So if you put down a down payment, or not a down payment, but a pre-order on a Nikola Badger, I would be pretty nervous right now. I don't even know if it's going to happen. Oh, so man, I mean, I used to be so gung-ho on Nikola, and then all this stuff and all this information came out, and it's just like, it gets to more depressing and depressing and depressing. And now I'm glad I got out when I did. I certainly am. So before we go, today in history is actually a pretty big day. It's a holiday. It's on the calendar. It's Columbus Day. And unfortunately, I mean, I don't know if people are off school. I guess you get off school for Columbus Day. But anyways, yeah, there's so much controversy now about Columbus Day. It's like, I don't really understand it. It's been on the calendar for forever, but, well, not for forever, because there was a day in history when Columbus had to find the new world, if you will. But anyways, that is today in history, Columbus Day, pretty wide known. And if you don't, then you just probably don't live in the United States. But anyways, I hope you found today's video informative, fun, and maybe even a little controversial or spicy. So if you did, please drop a like and a sub. That would be greatly appreciated. And I will see you guys tomorrow.